Oh, we gotta end it with the beginning that I wanted.
No, I'm not doing that.
I wanted John to like put that on and have a harmonica and one of those in his hand.
Oh my fucking god.
And be like, I'm Jonathan Cherlin and this is real life.
It's too much.
Doesn't feel right.
It's not true to Genesee.
So what are you doing? What's up?
Doing an interview.
You're just gonna be like.
You had to ask me questions.
You're just gonna be like a disembodied voice.
Huh?
This is how Dom does an interview.
Just
Say something.
Interesting.
Okay, so talk to me about your first poem.
My first poem?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. What was that? I think I started writing poetry, yeah, in junior high. I don't remember what my first poem was. I remember I wrote like this 1-page story. Oh man, that was like about a dream I had, I think. But I vaguely remember it now. And I think it was about like a guy and a girl and like our first date. And like they talked for hours until like the restaurant was closing. But for some reason they were never going to see each other again. And it was like I don't know. I probably have a copy of it somewhere at like my house in Massapequa, but I guess even then I was just like this emo like romantic 12-year-old boy. Why I'm such a romantic?
Who hurt you, John?
Oh, actually,
who do we need to fight? Who do we need to murder and kill?
No, actually, there's a story that my dad's told me that I feel like I vaguely remember, but maybe I don't. But when I was like 3 years old, I was in preschool, and I had like my first crush. Maybe I was like 4 or something. I don't know. But my dad asked me, what do you like about her? And I said, the sound of her voice. And he said he thought to himself, shit, he's done for. Because he said, like most kids would say, oh, she's pretty, or, you know, something like that. And I said, the sound of her voice. So, yeah. It started young, I guess.
Explains the rest of your existence.
But I did memorize one of my poems from high school that actually is in the beginning of my book. Watch me try to do it now, and like I'm gonna mess it up somehow.
Do the beginning of it.
It's
or the
called,
best part of it.
It's called Waiting to be Found. I walk down a path. Lost, I leave my light on to be found. As I walk, I see other lights. I try to get to them. Some turn their lights out before they can be found. Some I meet with, and we walk together side by side until we walk our separate ways, not knowing if we'll meet in future days. Infinite paths lie ahead, some going back, some going forward. But I never wish to go back, because there are demons there, demons who will tear you up until you are dead, and I know that my destiny lies somewhere ahead. Again and again I realize I walk alone, but I will forever leave my light on and hope I'll be discovered, finally found by someone who may walk with me till the end of this long dark forest is uncovered. And I wrote that I think when I was like 16, started reading some Robert Frost poems, which I think it's obvious that it was inspired by that.
Why do you write poetry?
Why?
Yeah. Like, why is that your choice of creative medium?
It's gonna sound weird maybe, but it's not a choice. I have to. If I don't write, and it's been hard sometimes because like the last couple of years I've been writing a lot less, but I don't feel good. I feel not well when I don't write. Like it's something that just I have to do and it comes out of me. Like I never looked up where this quote came from because I don't remember. But when I was in college, I took this American poetry class. Um, I took a bunch of this professor's classes. His name was Dr. Schlesinger, Dr. Lee Schlesinger. And he was quoting some American poet, but I don't remember who. And it was something to the degree of this guy said that there's two kinds of writers. And the first kind realizes that there's infinite things in the universe to write about. And he says, yes, there's infinite things in the world, in the universe to write about. And then there's a second writer, and when he realizes that there's infinite things in the universe to write about and thinks, damn, there's infinite things in the universe to write about. But the common thing between them is if you're a writer, you have to write. And I've always felt like I'm like the latter guy, that I don't necessarily want to write, but I have to. It's just something that happens. It doesn't feel like a choice. I can't fully understand something until I articulate it. Yeah. And just from a very young age too, like it's funny, like my sister, she was always very shy and quiet. She's not so much now, but I was always like the chatterbox, like I just had to talk. And also I always wanted to share things with people. So it's like if I had a thought or an idea or got a new toy or something, like I need to show somebody. But also what I even, one of my dedications in my book, I dedicated a bunch of people. And at one point I said to my mother, though, for she would always say that cliche phrase of, if I was upset and crying and screaming, she would say, use your words, John, use your words. And so, but I think that really is a big part of it, because I remember thinking like, how do I, say this thing that I'm feeling? But I had to figure it out. And then as soon as I could say it, I felt better, So I think that a big part of it does come from that, even though it sounds kind of funny, because like every mother probably says that to her child, but, but yeah, it's been useful for me.
Say Mario or Mario?
Yeah, why?
What do you say? I say Super Mario Brothers, but I say Mario Kart.
Ow.
I think I'm weird like that too.
You're all
Johnny, you
weird.
look like you're freaking like dead on the couch.
He is.
What got you into video games?
Into playing video games?
Yeah.
Man, so my earliest memories of playing video games must have been I must have been really young, because it was my dad, I think, playing Pac-Man on the Atari or something. I remember thinking it was cool, but then I think maybe when I was 4 or 5 or something, my grandmother, my nana from my mom's side, she got my sister and I an NES. And I remember that first moment of playing Mario Brothers, and when you move, like he moved on the screen. It was it felt unreal. Like I was in a cartoon or interacting with a cartoon or something. And it was just amazing to me. And I was just obsessed. And that just obsession stuck with me. And then, just countless memories of playing video games with my sister. And then as I got a little bit older, when I was bullied at school, there was a couple of years there where I didn't really have any friends. And I hated being at school because I was just being bullied all the time. And then I would come home and I'd feel like a hero, So I got my Sega Dreamcast, my Nintendo Wii with my GameCube controller, my little PlayStation 2, and this is the switcher for the TV. The Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64,
What are you, an old man?
Nintendo 64, and my Xbox 360, and my PSP. What? And I never play these things, but I still have.
What is that?
That is a portal gun plushie. And, I wonder if the batteries still work. I haven't used this in years.
Target acquired. Critical error.
It's a motion sensor.
Oh,
You know. So he's protecting me all the time.
Goose. The goose and the goose.
Yeah. The thing that really changed for me, like there was a period when I was a teenager where I thought maybe I was starting to outgrow it, or people were telling me that you will outgrow it, And then I played Metal Gear Solid, and I realized that, this medium could be used for so many incredible things, like that it's being underutilized, because that game made me question the government and authority, and made me feel like that, what it might be like to be a soldier and to kill somebody. And it had just a profound effect on me. And that just has stuck with me for the rest of my life. So, yeah.
So, what are you doing now with your life?
With my life?
Creative life.
Well, a good friend of mine has been gracious enough to let me host an open mic in Astoria. That's on January 18th. And so that's exciting and a bit nerve-wracking. I'm also going to be, same friend, is going to have me do an interview series, which is, again, also terrifying and exciting. And, I feel like that with my writing, maybe what's been holding me back is I haven't been allowing myself to be as open as I usually was. It's like, from what I hear, it's a common thing with writers too, that like you start to write a certain way and feel like you kind of have to write that way, but I'm trying to just let it come naturally and not try to write, because again, that's the thing, if I'm being when it's best, I think, is when I'm not trying, when it just happens. But I also have integrated my harmonica playing into kind of an improv kind of poetry, which people have responded well to, and it's kind of a different way of expressing myself that's been helpful for me too. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that right now.
You can't do
Okay, director.
I can't be
This is so weird, though.
Well, I told you, it's your mood lighting. I didn't ask for this.
What are you
I
gonna?
know, what's he supposed to do?
What do you want me to
You're
do?
supposed to talk about Restless Together.
In bed.
Yeah.
It's just when I was in college, I was friends with this lady, Laura, and we were talking about what our Matrix names would be, because we were really into the Matrix. And she said, I think your name would be Restless. And I felt like she said the name that was already in my soul. Oh my God, that's totally my name. And that's it. And Delirium came from that. She's my favorite character in the Sandman comic books, graphic novels. And so Restless Delirium. There, that's all it was. There was no point in going to bed.
But you're restless.
Yeah, I'm restless right now.